thing about CTM is that our advertising marketing medium is self-selected, meaning the tourist and visitor actually selects what they want. And there is no other type of medium that's like that.
I think everything went well. We had a lot of tough kids that came out, a lot of kids that really want this. Some kids are just not ready. Some of them, they just don't have that edge, but we got some quality people out here tonight. A great location here, Mad River Tavern, perfect place to have it. A lot of local kids, and I think we're going to make some dreams come true. This is going to be an interesting experiment.
John Benoit, I don't think is even getting the credit that he deserves. I think that he is the real deal. I think he's underrated, and he may be the best 155-pounder in New England today.
I think this is my fight, and it's mine to lose if I make a mistake.
Matt Bissett beating John Benoit will catapult him over the entire 155 division in New England, and he will instantly become the man to beat in this scene.
I feel like he should have stayed retired.
Sean Durfee, 6'2", 255, a big guy, 32 years old. He has the age in his side in this fight. He's a big guy, but he's a ground guy, and that's the interesting thing. There's not a lot of big, really good ground guys, and that's what you have here at GFL 13 at Sean Durfee.
When we're doing our training, that we're getting the best that we possibly can.
At Team City Otong in Somerville, John has worked with a who's who of famed MMA fighters. Everyone from Marcus Davis to Kenny Florian to Pete Spratt, Stephan Bonner, or George Gurgel, or everyone. So he has continually worked over these years with a long list of fighters that are making their living in pro MMA fighting. And he's had this experience on a daily basis. So he's a 1-0 MMA fighter himself. He has been fighting these guys for a whole lot of years, and he's bringing that skill, that high-level skill, to GFL 13. Sean Durfee is a ground fighter. He's a true ground fighter coming out of Jay Jack School. Obviously, his 2 fights, both wins by submission. This is an area where John would be the weakest. He's not a great ground guy. We've only seen him in 1 fight. He just made his pro debut recently, win in stellar fashion, but by striking. He never had an interest of going to the ground. So if Sean gets him down on the ground, it's going to be an interesting war, and it could be a good night for Sean.
Me and John Johnson are going to step in the ring and have some good times.
We're talking about a really interesting fight. When you put Sean Durfee on one side of the ring and John Johnson on the other, 2 guys, one in his 30s, one just hitting 40, both, a 2-0 fighter versus a 1-0 fighter. These guys are novices, big guys, both undefeated. Of course, they've only had a couple of fights. But then you look behind them, and on one side you see Jay Jack, a longtime MMA veteran fighter. One heck of a reputation as a fighter, just a wild man out there. And you have the more calm, cool, and collected Mark Delagrati behind John Johnson on the other side. It's really an unbelievable clash of styles. That is what's going to make this one heck of a fun night. You have the ground war on one side, stellar ground war. I think all of Jay Jack's wins himself were by submission, maybe save for 1. And then his student, same way. And then you're looking across at John Johnson, 1-0 by stellar TKO, and behind him is a knockout artist in Mark Delagrati, and he's created a lot of fighters that have proven that over the years in some heavy hitters. Put a whole big, huge thing of food on one side and me on the other side and him in the middle. He'll come to me and ask permission.
Just when you're looking, though, because, if you leave food on the counter and then you leave, when you come back, a whole roll of cupcakes or a chicken pot pie or something will be missing. Has Rocky ever punched Oliver before? No, Oliver has punched Rocky.
It's because he's a peace-loving dog. He jumps from counter to counter when there's food nearby, but...
Yeah, see? Jumping. He's a good jumper. Oliver, at least he cleans himself when he's licking himself. Rocky just goes to one particular area to lick himself.
Room with his own litter box and his own bed.
AT&T 3 News reporter Brian Bradbury has more.
With the holiday season upon us, most are preparing by dressing up their homes with the spirit of the season.
These Christmas trees you see behind me may be brightening some homes this holiday season, but they may also help brighten the lives of those suffering from a terrible disease.
Linda Rivera is showcasing the gift of giving by donating some of the proceeds from the sale of her Christmas trees to Lowell General Hospital's Cancer Care Center.
Now, your local news source in the Merrimack Valley. You're watching AT&T 3 News.
Good evening, I'm Brian Bradbury.
And I'm Danielle Pepe. Here's what's happening on this New Year's Eve. A drunk driving accident kills a Chelmsford man.
And now his friend is facing charges. The accident occurred around 8:30 last night on Interstate 93 in Wilmington. That's when police say 23-year-old Andrew Martin of North Andover crashed his Camaro into a snowbank. Police say the car was traveling 65 miles per hour. According to authorities, the car became airborne, crashing into a bridge abutment. 22-year-old Andrew Kavanagh of Chelmsford was killed on impact from severe head trauma. Martin suffered only minor injuries. He's being charged with motor vehicle homicide, operating under the influence, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, and a marked lane violation. Well, with several local bars and restaurants hosting New Year's Eve festivities, as we mentioned, it is a possibility you won't have to travel far to find one in your neighborhood. AT&T 3 News reporter Jennifer Gannon joins us now with what's going on at one Chelmsford restaurant.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, as you welcome the new year tonight, one important thing you should remember: to be safe. The Lowell Police Department is beefing up security to help keep intoxicated drivers off the roads. Officials say the New Year's Eve can be a dangerous time on the streets, so you want to make sure you drive slow, especially with the added precipitation expected tonight. Officials say if you plan to spend the night at home, try to avoid traveling on the roads. Well, coming up next on AT&T 3 News, residents say goodbye to several longtime town employees. Some Draken employees recently made that choice.
The end of the year means the end of a career for a group of employees from the town of Draken.
Well, after giving a piece of their life to Draken, over a dozen town employees will call this New Year's Eve their last day of work.
You know, I just can't believe it's New Year's Eve and that 2002 is over. It seems like it flew by.
It definitely flew by. There were so many ups and downs throughout the year. Great events, some losses, some people passing, but what a spectacular year it really was.
It was, and a lot for the city of Lowell, and now we're expecting more for this year, 2003, including more snow.
Possibly more snow. We have such a mixed bag on the way. Let's take a look now at the Merrimack Valley weather forecast. Tonight, New Year's Eve, cloudy with a chance of rain, lows in the 30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high near 40. Now for the weekend or the extended forecast, snow likely Thursday, high in the 30s, low dropping into the 20s. The same for Friday, more snow, there is a chance, not accumulating. High in the 30s, dropping into the 20s. For Saturday, more of the same. Snow likely, high in the 30s, lows dropping into the 20s, maybe the teens. No, not much accumulation though.
Joining us now is Mike Ferrantino with sports.
It's me, just me. I don't know if you recognize me. I'm back at the sports desk now. But
he's over there.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with.
Well, turning now to movies. For the second week in a row, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, is still defeating all newcomers at the box office. $48.8 million it brought in. Further down the line, trying to catch up, is Steven Spielberg's directed Catch Me If You Can. Coming in second at $30.1 million was the biggest budget debut for Leonardo DiCaprio, surpassing the 1997 blockbuster Titanic.
And that's going to wrap up this Tuesday, New Year's Eve edition of AT&T 3 News. I'm Danielle Pepe.
And I'm Brian Bradbury. Happy New Year's Eve. And make it safe one. Make it a safe one tonight.
Definitely. Good night.